busted open and Dave's vision was able to expand into the 24-hour wrestling channel is because of some of these names. Speaking of these names that they have associated with it, Bubba Ray Dudley is. This feels a lot more like Bully Ray, to tell you the truth. Is right there on. Oh, yeah, really close. Tommy Dreamer, Dave Lagreca, welcome. Susumu, please make sure their mics are on. This is. It's got contention.
Is this mic on?
Yeah. You
want to share it with me?
I would love to share my mic with you, Bubba. Bully. Ooh,
Bubba's
that's
dead.
Yeah, that's bad news. That's right. I saw. Congrats on the match.
Yeah. I don't think you put it over enough.
I was gonna hit it again today. It was really good.
Perfect.
It was really good. Really good. How are you guys? Good to see you guys. Tommy.
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm great.
We were having such a good conversation on Busted Open, we figured we'd come in here and continue the conversation.
It's always great.
It's 24/7 now,
no, it
so
is.
you could just
Got another mind talking wrestling. What were you talking about? What's
Is
up
your
in?
orange juice?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a citrus mix. Help yourself.
Wow.
Help yourself to that. You have yourself. Oh, that's gone. That's quite a gulp.
By the way,
Yeah.
I
What were you
gotta
talking
give.
about? Just open up stuff? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm just going to continue whatever conversation.
Yeah, what were you
I
talking
was
about?
literally just talking about working here and walking past the studio and seeing Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, Mark Henry, all just sitting there at this table and thinking about, if I hadn't.
What can I rip off from their show today?
I took our producer, Susumu.
Yeah, you took Susumu. By the way,
I barely took him. He barely shows up.
we need Susumu because
What?
we're doing a live masters class at 1:00.
Well, that's
And Susumu, I want him to sign candy bars and protein bars for the nation members that come in.
Did you guys see? Do you know Susumu sniffs before he chews?
Yeah, we saw that.
Did you know that, Bully?
does that
Susumu.
mean?
It's a microphone.
Mic.
To radio.
What does that mean that he sniffs before he chews?
They had a clip. Can I lay it out for you?
Please.
Because I popped massive for it. He's just doing his show, and then in the corner, Susumu opens up a candy bar, which then is revealed as a protein bar. And as he's just going on his normal conversation, you see Susumu smell it, and then he starts to eat it. So as that happens, Sam just breaks out,
Exposes him.
and just what did you just do? It was phenomenal. It was so good.
I mean, but when you're mid-train of thought, and it's just deep in focus, and then all of a sudden, you see Susumu,
Yeah.
and he's opening this candy bar, and it's that's fine, He's got to get a little nourishment, but he goes and then he starts eating it. And I've just never seen anybody have to sniff, because what are you sniffing for? You going oh, no, this is no good? This has gone rotten? It's a candy bar.
You're a big sniffer, huh, Susumu?
You like to have a sniff for yourself, Susumu?
And the video went viral.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody loved it because
Yeah.
nobody could believe. I mean, you wouldn't even think, oh, that's a video I'd like to see, because that's a premise that you wouldn't even consider,
It's like cutting a Snickers bar with a knife and fork.
Here's the video right
100%.
here. Here's the video right here.
Oh, here it is now.
Watch.
See?
As the shows go.
Oh my God,
Right.
he reminds me of Spalding from Caddyshack. I bet you the Susumu kid picks his nose and eats it.
But I gotta give Sam credit. I listen to Sam Roberts, Not Sam Wrestling Live, every day after Busted Open goes off the air.
Thank you.
And earlier this week, he talked about Cody and Drew and about their match on SmackDown. And he said, hey, if it was up to me, I would have had Cody lose to Drew McIntyre. Shock and awe. Everybody, listen, between Sam and Coach, maybe Wrestle Dream was talked about 10 minutes, but that's besides the point.
We talked about Wrestle Dream
it
plenty.
wouldn't have been talked about at all if you had Drew McIntyre beat Cody Rhodes for the championship on SmackDown.
There was a big part of me that, and as you're watching, because as I was watching, it was oh my God, this could happen. There's every reason in the world that it would. It's a totally impromptu match. And you've got every excuse in the book built in for Cody. He was leading with his emotions. He wasn't prepared. He was in his street clothes. And, I mean, I get it. The ending does lead to Drew being able to cut this promo calling Cody a hypocrite. It'll be good. But there was this sort of you could have had oh, my God. Nobody told me this was a can't-miss SmackDown and there's a new world champion. You know what I mean?
And then I love what you said too that like Cody has his dad voice where he comes out, he's like, enough.
It's my favorite Codyism. I've been doing it all week.
Why are all the lights on in the house?
That's right. It's big, like turn down the thermostat energy.
Yeah. But it's Cody, because you know how Cody like pre-plans everything, and no, this is him getting caught up in his feels, getting caught up in his emotions.
Even to the finish, right?
Yes.
Where he hits him with the belt,
yes.
Which is the one thing that differentiated at WrestleMania John Cena and Cody, the good guy and the bad guy. This guy's a bad guy because he'll use the belt. This guy's a good guy because he won't use the belt. He's like a different, and he's got a black suit on.
Even if you go back to the Travis Scott smack.
Right.
Cody should have smacked Travis Scott, but instead hit him with his finish. It's the smack that we all wanted to see back. But what does the babyface do? He'll hit you with the wrestling move. But for the first time, Cody showed that frustration and used the belt. So maybe we are putting our toe in the water of seeing a different side of Cody.
And I think with Cody, it's all like flirtation with that different side. I don't think there's any heel turn coming.
The other difference too, John Cena and him had a history, and he still had that respect because it was kind of like mentor teacher vibe that he had going on. So I could see how they did it. But the other part, let me ask you this. Like, if they would have switched the title, then Drew was right.
How so?
Drew would be right about everything that he says because he just beats the Cody. You are a fraud. You are this. You are that. That's an instance where then I was like, we always say somebody goes over, somebody gets over, but this is I beat somebody and then I hurt.
But he's still right though, even in what happened, because he did get the victory by disqualification. He can still expose Cody as a fraud.
Right.
Hey, this isn't who you're supposed to. You preach all this, and look what you did to me on
You did
Friday.
the exact thing that you said you would never do. And if anything, I think Drew's probably going to frame it as you got yourself disqualified. Because heels, that's how they get themselves disqualified. I mean, this week, it's been like there's been 3 belt hits and 1 attempted belt hit. It was Cody on SmackDown. It was Joe on WrestleDream. It was Becky on Raw. And it was JC Jane on NXT. And only one of those is like the biggest babyface in the company. All the rest of them are heels doing the heel thing.
Yep. Well, obviously it's effective because it's working.
That's right.
You watch a lot of wrestling.
A lot of wrestling. Okay, I do this show every day.
Who watches more, you or Lagreca?
I think I'm going to
You would have never remembered the 4 belt shots.
No, I wouldn't have. But I think that's more of an age thing than anything else.
Oh, you're saying you forget the details. All the granular stuff gets lost somewhere.
I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that I watch more wrestling than Sam, because not only am I watching the current product, but I'm going back and watching old stuff too. 2 hours of Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express on WWE Vault. They have 2 hours of just Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express.
But to be fair, AJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was only like a week or 2 ago that out of nowhere we did a whole half hour about Paul Orndorff in 1994 in WCW.
Oh, you bet we did.
But also I did earlier this week about like maybe one of the worst eras in WWF history. You were breaking down how it wasn't really all that bad.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the new generation.
Let me ask you this. What are you doing on your off time?
I mean, off time, very little off time. I mean,
what are you doing?
Generally watching wrestling. We actually talked about it the other day when it was like, I think it was because one of the shows wasn't on. So we had a discussion. That's how the Paul Orndorff thing came up. It was like, you go, oh, there's no wrestling on tonight. Oh, it's almost like a relief. Oh, I don't have that. I can go watch something else. I could go. And within 10 minutes, you're like, well, this sucks. Like, let me turn on Peacock. Let me turn on one of the old pay-per-views.
It's a problem. And I also watched Crockett Cup 86, Crockett Cup 87.
That was a good show.
And in my watch list is Crockett Cup 88. So.
And I texted Tommy about this because I heard him on Coach's show on the same day. I think it was on Monday. We were talking about the end of WrestleDream and the fish tank spot. And Tommy and I had the exact same thought which is we went straight to the Big Japan Piranha Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where.
Did you too?
That's what I said on the
you
air.
said
I
on
love
the-
it. The 100%.
I said this is stolen straight from the Big Japan Piranha Deathmatch,
Yes.
and we spoke on
Yes.
Monday morning.
And
yeah.
also, you bring up Coach. He kind of balances everything out because he doesn't watch any wrestling at all. So kind of balances it all
It
out.
brings the average right to where it should be.
Passive aggressive.
I kid.
yeah.
But yeah, I was waiting for the piranhas to be dumped into that tank because even the tank looked exactly.
And can you tell me one of the guys involved in the match?
We just turned it back on because I was teaching.
I think I
AJ
know
and
one of the
Susumu about
guys.
it.
Was Matt Sanaga in it?
I think he was. Pull it up, AJ.
My when I was at a show when that was happening, and someone fans started talking to me about it and all this stuff, and I'm like, as soon as they said they pulled out a fish tank, I was like, oh, are there piranha in it?
Yes.
Like so normal, and the guy's like, what are you talking about?
No, but that's
Matt
the thing.
Sanaga
Where,
was in it, by the way.
when people were like outraged by it, I was like, why?
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
check it out. It's like Tommy Kendo Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Wow, and yeah, Matt Sanaga.
Yes.
Matt Sanaga was a big deathmatch guy in Japan.
Huge.
Yep.
Huge. Yeah, I remember this is a whole
Kind of like second level behind. I don't even, can you call, I know it was called the King of the Death Matches, but these guys were taking it to a next level other than what Cactus and Funk and Pogo and Onita were doing.
for sure. Like that. Those were the innovators of it.
Whoa.
And then these guys were the how far can we push
Yeah,
it? Like
yeah.
how far can we go? It was almost like
It felt like an ECW, CZW thing.
100%. That's just about all the spin-offs
Yeah.
that ECW
And
got.
you're bleeding going into a piranha.
mean, it's
cage.
not
this
good.
is whoa, he's in there. They're
and then
not
they
even.
all start biting him, and it's like, well, how do you fake that? You don't. You just pull him out before.
I really hope that this match
Oh,
was
wow.
after. I really hope that this match was after midnight,
He's
so
trying to
kids
kill
weren't
him.
able to
Yes,
watch
the
it.
kids.
Yeah, like
Well, that's why I put this tape on.
Bro, that's a young Tajiri in the blue.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's
Yes,
a
Wow.
young
it is.
Tajiri.
Yeah, I had to get rid of my piranhas after this match, Eric, because
Yeah.
the kids were going to throw each other
yeah,
into the
because
tank.
it's just,
Yeah, although I will say that some of the stuff they've done on AEW has affected my children because when it was the first AEW All In, it was the first Wembley All In when they had the I think it was a 6-man with Mox in it and Penta and all those guys, and it was on in the middle of the day. And so my family had gone out for a while. My son and I had watched like the opening match, which was Punk and Joe. And then the family went out for a while, and then they came back in mid-afternoon. And I turned around, hey guys, the show's still on. And my son, who was like 7 years old at the time, just looks at the screen like, what is he doing? And I turned around, and it was the exact moment that Mox took all the skewers in his head. And to this day, my son's like, you can't watch that. Like when I was ordering Wrestle Dream, he was like, Mom, Dad's ordering the AEW. That's a show with the spikes in it. That's a show with the spikes.
That's
fantastic.
good.
But the worst spot was that fork spot in All In when it's like you just see the blood just pouring out
Yeah.
of his forehead.
Yeah.
And even like what we saw at Wrestle Dream with the skewers
In the fingernail, that's it for
underneath
me,
the
too.
fingernails. Like
It's one of those when
Yeah.
you can like kind of relate to it. Like some of the stuff gets so big that the fact that you're removed from ever doing anything like that, it becomes more sensational. But when you can relate to that, even when they would do they would just take a piece of paper and
Yeah.
paper cut between your fingers in matches. That's the stuff that makes you cringe. That's why the staples work so well when they're stapling like dollar bills. Because you know what a stapler is. You know how that would. You know how much you don't want to get stapled.
I want to ask you this question, and obviously everybody knows your relationship with the WWE, and I love that you wear that shill badge,
I'm the original shill.
like a badge of honor, which I absolutely love. You know, the whole show today was on Dynamite, and we got a lot of calls on Dynamite as well. But it always feels like when we bring up Dynamite, almost like, because I know. You know, talking to Tommy, talking to Mark, talking to Bully, it's gonna lean towards the negative because as professionals, they're gonna see those holes even more than you and I as like, you know, as a fan. And I almost feel bad about it because I want AEW to succeed. I want them to be a viable company, but it's hard to not see those holes. There are positives, but do you feel that same way as well? Like, when you talk about AEW, you almost feel like you do lean towards the negative, and that's going to open things up that way.
Yeah, I try, if I'm talking about it, to only talk about the things that I like, because I think two things. I think, like, this show, I don't really talk about things that I don't like. This isn't this isn't that show.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not a professional wrestler that's going to sit there and do those X's and O's. And at the same time, I think the reality is everybody knows what my relationship is with WWE. And I think even if I had a legitimate AEW criticism, it would come across as shilly if I was on here being the WWE guy criticizing AEW. And I also just think that's not, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll find the things that I enjoy. I enjoyed the main event of the show last night. I'm enjoying looking at the tag team championship bracket and kind of already breaking down. I enjoyed the puppet. You know what I mean? These are the things that I enjoy.
And there's nothing wrong with you and Dave talking about things that you either liked or did not like on any particular show. But for myself, when I'm watching, yes, I do watch as a fan. I know what I like and don't like. But sometimes there are glaring holes in things that are going on. Like there was something that happened on NXT that happened the other night that I pointed out on After Dark. Tommy tries to keep it positive, uber positive, but our frustration as professionals, myself, Tommy, Mark, lies in how good we know AEW can really be. And some of the fixes are so simple. Mm-hmm. So simple. In the snap of Tony Khan's finger, you can change some of the things. And it would tighten the screws on the product and make it that much more better. So not that we're sitting there like we were talking about on AEW today. The show opens last night with Hangman Adam Page's promo post Wrestle Dream.
Right.
And he says, Samoa Joe, if I see you, I'm going to get you and I'm going to, beat you up. And who comes out of the entranceway? Samoa Joe. Right? Now, we know that it's a pre-tape from Wrestle Dream, but the minute we see Samoa Joe, we're like, well, where's Hangman?
Right.
Yeah.
You've been predisposed, you've been preconditioned to Hangman, my world champion babyface, just say, if I ever see Samoa Joe again, I'm going to beat you up. And there's Samoa Joe, where's Hangman Page? Nobody's going, oh, well, that was the pre-tape.
Of course not.
After Wrestle Dream and that. Things like that should be thought of beforehand. But the guy who's putting pencil to paper was never sat under the learning tree of people who know better than that. And if you look at any great booker in the history of our business, they all sat under the learning tree of another great booker. This is very much like back in the olden days with blacksmiths or leather makers or shoemakers. How did you become a great blacksmith or a great shoemaker? Well, you sat under the learning tree. You sat at the hip of. You were an apprentice for years and years and years before you got to make your first pair of shoes or shoe a horse or whatever it was. This guy never did that. He got a boatload of fucking money, and he opened up his own company.
And I think, too, that, wrestling is one of those specialized trades, and I'm sure, Dave, you've had the same experience, getting to do this show, or your show, this is my show, but getting to do the show, you know what I mean? That, you realize that no matter how big of a fan you are, no matter how much you think you know, no matter how many episodes of Unreal you've watched, no matter how many times you've seen Beyond the Mat, it's like there are these little things that you can only know from being there.
And they're simple, Sam, where it's like Bully or Tommy or Mark will say something and it's like, how did I not see that? It sounds so simple. It's like, how did I not see that? Because I've only watched it one way. I've watched it by looking at my TV as a fan.
And it's also a lot of times you find when you hear that little things that it's not necessarily A goes to B. It's this little thing that if I do this, you won't even know I did it, but it will change how you perceive. It'll change how you feel. And that's what it's lacking, that little thing that it's like, why don't I feel this? Well, if I had done this, you would have felt that.
Yes.
If I could use two examples really from Bully's point of view, right? I'm watching championship baseball, right? The NLCS. Ron Darling is literally calling pitches before they're happening. And then when he doesn't throw the pitch and the guy gets a hit, it's like, why did he do that? I'm also watching an NFL game and Steve Young is is commentating on a game, and he's like, they're running out of time. He goes, "Where's the sense of urgency? This is a young quarterback who needs to hurry," and they wound up losing the game. And he's like, now they got to call a timeout. You know, you got to spike. And like, he's saying all these things because he played it. So I could see 100% when people make that type of criticism. You can't. We all live in a different world, as we all know, like getting, you know, bombarded on social media for all this. But you sometimes just got to let like those things slide. On the other part of it, right? I am in that position of having to do and make certain decisions. And I like Bound for Glory, dude. I will continue. Like, it was that and ECW One Night Stand 2005 are now my favorite shows that I've helped pretty much do. And for the emotional aspect, and then like I saw something, and at times Bubba does things to get people a little riled up.
No,
but he was just like, the Hardys and the Dudleys was a 5-star match, and I would have literally said it was a 10-star match.
Time out. Matt Hardy was, I didn't do that to rile people up. A kid came up to the Hardys table in Texas, an 11-year-old kid, and Matt asked him how he felt about the match. And this is an 11-year-old kid giving his review of the match and how it made him feel and how much he enjoyed and everything. I'm like, that's the only review I need to hear. Yeah. That's an 11-year-old child. To me, that's a 5-star review.
Okay, well then again, reading a caption, which we all do, and then we react. Or if you just read my reactions of my Arn Anderson interview, me and Arn hate each other, and I'm also fat and sleepy, which I could get the other part.
You could tell by the clip that you weren't really interested in the interview.
I was listening, you assholes, all of you that comment. I was listening intently, and my computer was turned a different way.
And I know, but perception sometimes can be reality.
Maybe then don't put me on camera.
No, I'm just
I am
saying,
not cosmetically appealing
I think that's
right
a great
now.
idea. Don't put him on camera.
No, I love it.
Let me finish my conversation.
You doesn't like Arn?
And the people were standing all throughout their match. And when you see people standing, when they pay for a seat and they're standing up, I have been to every football game, every stadium. I have seen people, the Kansas City Chief fans are the most engaged because they stand throughout the entire game. It sucks if you want to sit down. But with their match, and it was the same for Javon and Leon. Mm-hmm. And that was 2 completely different matches. And that was the match that I wanted the most, and was thinking about this match for like 4 months. Anyway, to everybody's point,
well,
that's
really
kind of why
Tommy,
we have to give that analysis.
Yeah, and really quick, Tommy, like if you go by, and this is why I think it's so frustrating for everyone when you go by like the Meltzer 5-star rating, right? Andre Hogan, not a 5-star rating. Rock and Hogan, not a 5-star rating. These are matches that are regarded as some of the greatest moments as wrestling fans.
Well, it's because and that's how you know. How do you feel as you're watching, and then how do you feel at the end of the match? How did you feel at the end of that Bound for Glory match?
Exactly. Like,
you know, the fact that an 11-year-old said that, the fact that I can have my perspective where it's like, I lived through this. The story that you guys told was the entire story. Going back to Royal Rumble 2000, maybe even before. And it's like, yeah, I got to experience that and relive that, and that's what I was feeling. The fact that you hit an 11-year-old the same way means that you were successful.
And Sam, really quick, to me, a perfect movie is Back to the Future.
Right.
When that movie came out, it got railed by the critics. The critics hated Back to the Future.
My last thing, in the back, I was watching wrestlers crying. And I was watching a group of peers crying. And there were some people like Chris Bay. He was not born for their first ever tables match.
Wow.
And he's wiping his eyes.
Well, they must have saw my paycheck.
And
anyway, we gotta go.
Anyway, there was a lot of people like that. I cried during the Santana match at the end. And I helped create that moment, but I couldn't replicate it, how it was emotionally, where I'm crying and I knew that stuff was going to happen. And then that's how I was like, man, all this is great.
Yeah.
And we want greatness across the board for every show.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
No.
I was asked what I wanted at the end of the match. I told them tears. That's what my goal for the Hardys Dudleys the whole 3 months was that when this match is over, I want tears. And that's what I got. Because if I can get tears out of your eyes, I've touched you emotionally in a way that you will remember for another 25 years.
That's awesome. It was a brilliant match, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is awesome.
We're not leaving.
Well, then make yourselves comfortable. We'll go to break. Thank you, guys. We're going to go to break.
Sam.
We'll be right back.